What if this moment, this exact second, was always meant to find you? You didn't stumble on this video randomly. No, you were guided here. Out of millions of things you could be watching, your path, however chaotic, however uncertain, brought you right here. Maybe it's been a hard week or a heavy month, or maybe you've just felt this quiet ache inside, a question you can't shake. Is this all there is? This message isn't for everyone, but it is for someone. Someone who's been waiting, even if they couldn't name what for. It's for the one who's been trying to hold it together while something inside is quietly falling apart. It's for the one who smiles on the outside but feels lost on the inside. And maybe that's you. Maybe you've been asking for a sign, a shift, a reason to believe that you're not as stuck as you think. What you're about to hear, it isn't just meant to inspire you. It's meant to awaken something in you. Something you've always known but maybe forgot somewhere along the way. A truth that's been waiting, quietly, patiently, for you to remember it. You've been searching for answers. But what if the answer is not outside of you? What if the shift you need isn't something you chase, but something you allow? What if everything begins not with effort, but with surrender? You are not here by accident. You were drawn to this space by something deeper. Your inner voice, your higher self, your soul remembering. And if you've stayed this long, it's because something inside of you already knows. So stay. Listen. Let this be more than just another video. Let it be a moment, a pause, a door opening. Let this be your beginning. Recognizing the inner stirring. Have you felt it lately? That quiet, persistent whisper inside you that gently says, there's more. Not louder than the noise of the world, but always there. Beneath the surface, beneath the routine. Like a soft breath you forgot you were breathing. That whisper isn't fantasy. It's not wishful thinking. It's not some passing daydream. It's your truth, speaking to you in the only way it knows how. Truth doesn't always arrive with trumpets and fire. Sometimes it arrives as discomfort, as restlessness, as the feeling that something is off, even when nothing is wrong. And maybe that's where you are, caught between gratitude for what you have and a pull toward something you can't quite name. You tell yourself to be patient, to be realistic, to be grateful, but that whisper doesn't leave. And here's the truth you've maybe been afraid to admit. It's not going anywhere, because it's not a wish. It's a calling. It's the part of you that remembers there's something more. Before life got too loud, before fear made you shrink. You don't have to know exactly what it is yet. You just have to trust that the feeling is real. And yes, maybe you don't feel ready. Maybe you're waiting for more clarity, more time, more proof. But let me offer you this shift. Maybe ready doesn't mean certain. Maybe it means willing. Ready enough to listen. Ready enough to explore. Ready enough to take just one step forward. I know someone, let's call her a friend, who spent years saying she wasn't ready to start her art business. She had the skills, the passion, the vision, but she kept waiting for the perfect moment. And still, every morning, she woke up with the same ache, the same quiet pull that said, do it anyway. One day she didn't wait. She didn't have the full plan, but she started. She shared one piece, one truth, one brushstroke of her soul. And from that small act, something shifted. Energy moved. Opportunities she couldn't have predicted found their way to her. That's the power of honoring the whisper, even before the world understands it. So what about you? What would shift if you just listened to that quiet part of you that's been trying to speak? What would become possible if you chose to believe that feeling wasn't a mistake, but a message that's stirring you feel? It's not meant to be silenced. It's meant to be followed. And the sooner you stop waiting to feel fully prepared, the sooner life begins to align with what's already true inside you. So take a breath, not because you're ready in the way you imagined, but because you're ready enough to begin. Here's your grounding truth. You don't need certainty to move forward. You just need enough courage to take the next step in faith. The power has always been within you. You've been through things that most people wouldn't even talk about. Quiet storms, silent battles, moments where it felt like the ground beneath you would disappear. And yet you're still here, not just breathing, but seeking, not just surviving, but still asking life for more. That is power. That is resilience. That's energy that didn't die when everything told you to give up. The world may not have seen it, but you You never truly stopped. Even when no one clapped, even when no one helped, even when no one knew, there was still a part of you that kept getting back up. What part of you was that? The one that kept whispering, "Not yet. Don't quit." What if that part wasn't weakness, but wisdom? What if your struggle wasn't a flaw, but a fire that's been forging you quietly into something rare? You don't need permission to rise. You don't need the world's approval to begin. You don't even need to feel brave, only honest, because the truth is, there's something inside you that never left. That inner pulse, that soft spark, that quiet refusal to disappear. That is your power. It might not shout, it might not always roar, but it speaks. And if you listen, really listen, you'll hear it say, "You were never broken, only becoming. You were never weak, only waiting to remember who you are." This world can make you forget your own strength, but just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. That power is not out there. It's in you. It always has been. It's in the moment you chose not to give up. It's in the decision to heal even when it hurt. It's in the way you keep showing up for yourself, day after day, even when it's quiet, even when it's lonely. And here's what matters most. You were never waiting for a sign. You were the sign. So let this truth settle into your bones. You don't need permission from anyone else. You only need permission from yourself. Stop reacting. Start creating. Most people move through life like they're underwater. Silent, heavy, eyes open, but not truly seeing. They react to everything. Emails, messages, moods of others. Without ever asking, is this how I choose to live? It's like living on autopilot where every choice is just a reaction to noise, not a decision from clarity. But you have the power to interrupt that cycle. You're not just a responder. You are a creator. You don't wait for the perfect moment to feel aligned. You align yourself through what you choose to believe and do. Because here's the truth, belief isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build breath by breath. When you believe in scarcity, every step is shadowed by fear. You say no before you even try. But when you believe in possibility, you start seeing doors where others see walls. Your beliefs are like lenses. They don't just color your world, they choose what you even notice. If you think the world is cold, your eyes look for rejection. If you think it's open, you notice invitations. So ask yourself, what lens have you been wearing? Who gave it to you? And do you still choose it? The vibration of your life doesn't change by waiting. It changes when you stop reacting and start choosing. That's where the shift happens. From default to design, from fear to flow. From living by reflex to living by soul. You're not here to repeat the past. You're here to rewrite the story. And it begins the moment you ask, what would I create if I believed I could? Because the truth is, you can. You always could. Awareness is the beginning of power. There's a quiet shift that happens when you begin to notice your own mind. Not to control it, not to fight it, but simply to become aware of it. It's like stepping out of the storm and realizing you were the one holding the thunder all along. You start to notice the way your heart races when you're doubting yourself, the tightness in your chest when someone criticizes you, the way you shrink when fear knocks. And the moment you notice, you begin to choose. Because awareness is not passive. It's power wearing a quiet robe. Most of the world runs on patterns. Repeating thoughts, old habits, loops that were never questioned. But when you pause, just pause and say, I see this, you break the spell. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to see. Because seeing is where transformation begins. Start small. 5 minutes in the morning writing down what's on your mind. Not to change it, just to notice it. Or close your eyes for 2 minutes. Just breathe. Watch what comes up. No judgment. No fixing. Just watching. And when life triggers you, and it will, try to observe your reaction like it belongs to someone else. What do you feel? Where does it live in your body? This is not weakness. This is mastery in its most silent form. The loudest growth isn't in the shouting. It's in the seeing. Awareness doesn't mean you never fall. It means you don't fall the same way twice. So if you're asking, where do I begin? Begin with awareness. Begin with noticing. Begin with choosing to look. Because awareness is the beginning of power. And once you're aware, you can never go back to sleep. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. And in that knowing is your freedom. Rewriting your old story. There comes a time when you must decide that your past is not your prison. It's just the path you walk to arrive here. The story that loops in your head. The one that whispers, "I'm not enough. I always mess things up. This isn't for people like me." It's not truth. It's just repetition. Those words were planted long ago, maybe when you were too young to question them. But you are not that version of yourself anymore. You don't owe loyalty to the stories that hurt you. Let go of the idea that you have to be completely healed before you can begin. That's just another stall in the disguise of perfectionism. Begin while trembling. Begin while doubting. Begin even if you still carry the old story in your back pocket. Just don't let it steer. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is your invitation. That tight feeling in your chest? That's not danger. That's your boundary being expanded. That resistance in your belly? It's your nervous system responding to something unfamiliar. Not wrong, just new. Think of the caterpillar. Does it know when it enters the cocoon that it will become something else? Or does it only know the discomfort of dissolving? You too are allowed to dissolve, to question everything, to rewrite. A man once told himself for years that he couldn't speak, that his voice wasn't made for rooms full of people, that he'd stutter or shake or fail. But one day he stood up anyway. His knees trembled, his hands sweated, but his voice came out, not perfect but real, and that moment cracked open a future he couldn't have dreamed. You don't rewrite your story by erasing the past. You rewrite it by choosing differently in the present. So ask yourself, what story are you still carrying that no longer belongs in the next chapter of your life? You're not trapped. You're transforming. You are not here to repeat old pain. You are here to break it with grace. You are allowed to change, even if others don't understand, even if your past doesn't match your future, because your life isn't a story someone else wrote. It's a story you're still writing. So write the story where you rise, where you heal, where you remember you were never broken, only becoming. You are not too late. You are right on time. Sometimes you look at where you are and wonder if you've fallen behind, if you missed the moment, if everyone else got the map and you were left wandering with nothing but questions. But what if I told you nothing was wasted? Not the delays, not the heartbreaks, not the seasons that looked like stillness. They were all preparing you for a deeper blooming. Every no shaped your patience. Every detour carved out your resilience. Every loss cleared space for something more aligned. You didn't miss the train. You were never meant to be on someone else's timeline. You're not late. You're right on the divine rhythm of your life. The universe does not rush what is sacred, and neither should you. You're not behind. You're becoming who you were always meant to be, in the exact way that only you can. Every step, even the ones you thought were backward, carried you forward into the fullness of yourself. And if the road felt long, that's because you were never building an ordinary life. You were building something that required a deeper foundation. Can you feel it now? How even the ache in your chest was sacred? How even the waiting was part of the whisper? You are not here to survive days and call it life. You are here to thrive, to rise with intention, to walk with courage, to live with presence. So breathe. Really breathe. Let the shame melt. Let the clock stop. Let this moment be the beginning. Because you are not late. You're not broken. You're not behind. You are here. You are ready. You are right on time. And this is your invitation to begin again, fully awake to the truth that your journey was never off course. It was simply sacred. Visualizing the future you. Take a breath, a real one. Let your shoulders drop and your chest rise slowly, like the ocean remembering how to be calm. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to see more clearly. Picture yourself, not as you've been, but as you truly are underneath all the doubt. Can you see them? The version of you that already exists. The one who walks with calm certainty, who speaks with compassion, who knows their worth without needing to prove it. They are not a fantasy. They are you. Without the noise, without the fear, without the hesitation. And there's no long road between you and them. Just one thing, a decision. A simple, sacred choice to begin acting as if that version of you is already here. What would that version of you do today? How would they speak to others? How would they speak to themselves? Would they delay their dreams or move with quiet certainty? Would they shrink or would they stand up? Even if their voice shakes, walk like them. Speak like them. Make decisions like them. Not because you're faking it, but because you're remembering. Because everything you want already exists as energy. And energy responds to embodiment. The future you is not waiting somewhere far away. They are calling you inward. Can you hear them? That whisper inside saying, I'm already here. Just say yes. So don't wait for the world to confirm what your soul already knows. Choose it, because transformation doesn't begin when something happens out there. It begins the moment you decide to see yourself differently in here. And in that decision, a new timeline unfolds. Walk it, today, as them, as you. What to do when doubt returns. There will be days when you question everything. When the fire inside you flickers and feels too small to warm even your own hands. Moments when your mind whispers, what if I can't? And your body believes it. That's not failure. That's being human. You will feel doubt. Everyone does. Even the strongest souls forget their light when the storm clouds roll in. But the presence of fear does not mean the absence of progress. When doubt returns, and it will, meet it not with panic, but with pause. Breathe. Ask yourself quietly, is this fear protecting me or limiting me? Not all fear is a warning. Sometimes it's just an echo of an old self that no longer fits who you're becoming. You don't need to fight the doubt. You only need to choose differently than you did before. And if the voice of fear grows louder than your courage, come back here. Come back to this message. Let these words remind you, you were never walking this alone. Energy remembers where it's been, and you've already chosen once to rise. That choice is still living inside you. You are not starting over. You're starting deeper. When in doubt, anchor to the truth that brought you here in the first place. You are more than the fear. You are more than the setback. You are becoming. Still. Always. Especially when you think you're not. And that is enough. You've made it here to this moment. Not by accident. Not by luck, but by the quiet strength inside you that kept reaching, even when you didn't know what for. You are powerful, not because everything has been easy, but because you kept showing up even when it wasn't. You are worthy, not because you've achieved everything, but because you exist, fully, beautifully, and imperfectly whole. You are guided, even in the silence, even when you felt lost. Something in the universe kept nudging you forward. And it led you here. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not when it's perfect. This one. Right here, right now. Take one small step. One breath of courage. One sentence written. One message sent. One decision that says, I believe in me. Send that email. Apply for that thing. Say yes to what scares you just a little. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about returning to who you've always been underneath the fear. You don't need to prove your worth. You never did. Your job is not to earn it, but to align with it. And when you feel unsure again, and you will, remember your future self already knows you made it. That future version of you, thriving, shining, fulfilled, they're not waiting for you with judgment. They're cheering, whispering, yes, keep going. You're closer than you think. Your life doesn't change in one giant leap. It changes in quiet moments like this, when you decide to move even a little. So breathe. Take the next step. Let the world feel your energy. Let life meet you where your courage begins. Because everything starts not with certainty, but with willingness. And you are ready.